Okay, I'm back. My Photoshop locked up. When that happens, you have to do Control Alt Delete and you just have to close it. And that is why you should save early and save often, like constantly. Control S, Control S. Save everything. Every time you do something, like honestly, every minute sometimes. If you're really going fast, you want to save after almost everything you do because you never know when it's going to lock up. Like I lost that file. So anyway, where was I? So I'm just going to show you the file that I made and how I built it. The first thing I did was I had much more brown ground on this one. And then the sky, I made actually a gradient, and you know how to do that now. I had two different colors of blue because I wanted to give that gradient effect that I saw on the photo. The hills, super flat. I'm going for a screen printed look. Obviously too flat, but that kind of fills in the basic shapes. Next thing was, what is that? Probably some, I'm not sure, probably some texture I added. So then I started to add in the shadows. This is definitely a little on the rough side, but anyway, I used a very basic brush. I think I just used the hard round pressure size because I wanted a lot of pressure difference, and make sure that layer is selected so you can do that. If I want to resume a color I was using before, I just click Alt on when I'm on. I need it to be on the brush setting. Alt, that's going to bring up the same color swatch that I had. And I was pressing pretty lightly for a lot of that. Oh, I don't want any smoothing. I don't know what that's about. Still seems a little light. Maybe I need a different brush. I think I might have changed the settings on this. Transfer, I don't want that. Oh, I know what it is. I have opacity pressure on. I do not want that. I definitely do not want that. So now that I have that off, the only thing that changes when I press harder is the size. So anyway, so kind of building up these shadows on the ground. The next layer, I think it's just another texture layer. More texture. Now that made a pretty dramatic difference on my hills. I have the same color. It doesn't look like the same color of shadow as I have on the ground, but for the sake of unity and a limited color palette, it is the same. It just looks different against that pink. So if I have that, make sure you have the right layers filled in. And I'm just going to add a little more. Oof, my computer's having trouble. Everything's got a lag to it right now. That's what I get for doing this on a laptop, an old laptop. All right. Now for the road. There, that makes a big difference. And I don't like the way I did those hills right there. There need to be some more shadows over here. So I'm on the right layer for that, I think. No, I'm not. Control Alt Z. I want to go back to my ground shadow layer. I really want to keep on this, I don't want random shapes on different layers. They need to stay together. So, okay, you see that. Going up some more, I added a hue saturation layer, so I didn't actually change any colors, but I changed the colors of everything all over by just doing new adjustment layer. If you go up to layer, new adjustment layer down here. And you can do a hue saturation adjustment layer, a photo filter layer, brightness contrast layer, levels. Play around with that, what that does. I just wanted it to have a more kind of toned down look all around, but I didn't want to change the color, so I was kind of experimenting. And then I added a texture layer on top of that, kind of a vintage paper texture, and I have a folder for that on our Google Drive also. So I'll just show you what that looks like. If I go up to Photoshop, let's see. If I go to our classroom, so here's our classroom, actually graphic design. You'll get a link for this, but Photoshop textures and patterns, if you click on that, these are just things I collected over the years, and the one that I I did, I use it a lot, is this light craft. It just adds like this papery kind of natural look to what otherwise would look like just really, really computer generated graphics. So I enjoy that. There's also some other different textures on here. You can play around with adding texture brushes to your surface, to your layers. Like I used a speckly brush to make the road have not just be so flat and gray. And it's okay. It's okay. I don't feel like it's quite there yet, but it's enough for this assignment. So anyway, I want you to, for this practice, choose a photo. It doesn't have to be from that folder, but it needs to be a photo that you can very simply reproduce the basic shapes with a limited color palette in layers using the lasso tool and the brush tool to build up an image and just practice all these skills before we go on to alter our posters. Okay, that's all.